Alright, so today we're going to talk about the old Betsy versus the Yeoman. Let's get into it. Which one is the champion and why? Hey guys, come and join us at twitch.tv/TeamVASH. We stream 18 plus hours a day and we're the most active Save the World streamers on the planet, so come and join us and be a part of the team. So, looking at the old Betsy and the Yeoman in a stat by stat comparison, we've maxed both of these out with full crit rolls. They both have crit rate, crit damage, physical. Unfortunately for the Yeoman, the old Betsy has absolutely just devastatingly superior perks. Like, just blows the Yeoman out of the water. Damage to slowed and snared is completely trash compared to 75% reload speed. Damage dealt with his weapon snares target by 30% is just complete vomit compared to the headshot eliminations causes an explosion, damaging enemies for 30% weapon damage to anyone within a half tile radius. Man, oh man, if it just came down to the perks alone, the Betsy would just obliterate the Yeoman so hard. It's just not even close, the perks on these guns. But thankfully for the Yeoman, it's incredibly overstated on the stat department, making up for having just an abysmal loadout. So as you can see, the critical hit chance and critical hit damage are identical for these guns. The fire rate is identical for these guns. The fire rate also doesn't matter on either of these guns because their reload speed is slower than the fire rate. So your reload speed is going to determine how fast you can fire this gun, not the fire rate. As you can also see, the impact on the Yeoman is quite superior. Very superior. 2,200 more impact than the old Betsy. That is crazy, man. That is some power. Also the range is 25,000 compared to the 10,000 range on the old Betsy. That is not as significant as you might think. The old Betsy can fire, that's insane range. Like we're talking about range that doesn't even make sense. I went and shot the Yeoman at extremely long range, and honestly, the damage fall off, despite being a 25,000 range weapon, was very unimpressive. I was like, wow, I didn't do much damage at all when I shot that guy on the hill back there. It's like, huh, that's weird. So the damage fall off is actually quite bad on the Yeoman. But again, you're not going to be shooting those crazy long shots very often anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant. It doesn't really matter. This really comes down to the headshot and the flat damage. This is where the big difference between these guns really shows up. The flat damage of the Yeoman is just so much more powerful than the old Betsy. Like, it is just, it's insane. Like, it's insane. The Yeoman has, I mean, look at it, man. It does 15,000 higher damage than the old Betsy. That is just crazy power, man. Crazy power. The old Betsy though has the vastly superior headshot damage. So even though having a way lower end damage, the 2.0 headshot damage of the old Betsy actually makes it the superior headshot weapon. At the end of the day, if you're looking for the biggest crit that a headshot weapon can do, the old Betsy is still the #1 super champ of the game. So for headshot eliminations, if you're just going to headshot over and over and over again, the Betsy's the winner. Hands down. By a huge margin. By 14,000 damage, or let's just say 13,000 damage higher headshot. That is a big deal. So if you're hitting your headshots and the old Betsy almost always hits its headshots, it is deadly accurate. If we're just looking at the numbers, then the old Betsy's better. The old Betsy does headshots. The old Betsy kills everything around it when it hits that headshot with the explosion, doing massive AoE damage, hitting, potentially an entire group of enemies. I've, on many occasions, killed entire groups of small enemies with a headshot explosion. Which compared to the Yeoman's shooting through targets, you're really not looking at shooting more than two to three enemies in a line. Most of the time, you're not even hitting more than one enemy in a line, to be honest. Shooting enemies in a line is a very niche situation where you're on the ground They're coming in at you. They're usually at pretty close range, and you're no-scoping shots right through multiple enemies doing wave clears. So that's the only way that the Yeoman can possibly keep up. That said, the Yeoman's ability to do damage, flat damage, is a superior tool. If you're going body shots, then the Yeoman wins, hands down, by a massive margin, by like a 15,000 damage margin, compared to the 13,000 damage headshot margin. It's crazy, right? It's like a real flip-flop. It's like, do you want 15,000 more damage, or do you want 15,000 more headshot? It really depends on your style of play, right? If you are more of a headshot specialist, then you're going to gravitate towards the old Betsy and get massive AoE clears and just blow up groups of enemies and like one-shot kill enemies for the highest crit damage in the entire game. However, if you're not a real big headshot guy, the Yeoman is definitely going to be more your style. You can shoot straight through the body and one-shot kill pretty much anything, except for a Husky or a Mist Monster, right? Any small enemy is going to just get annihilated. Huskies, even if you hit a headshot or if you get a body shot crit, you can easily one-shot kill them. Just incredible power. And then the Yeoman, has the piercing effect that can pierce through enemies. So, yeah. The Yeoman versus the old Betsy. Which one is better? Well, for me, hands down, old Betsy. Old Betsy does more headshot damage. The headshot damage can kill groups of enemies. The old Betsy is going to get bigger numbers, larger one-shot kill numbers, which is what I use the old Betsy for. I'm all about that headshot, shoot a target, kill a target, shoot a target, kill a target. It's a shame with that the old Betsy doesn't have the high body shot damage, but again, it's high enough, right? It's high enough. Most of the time, you're going to be hitting body or headshots. When you do hit the body shots, it's going to do critical huge damage anyway. Especially if you get a crit, there's a good chance that you're going to one-shot kill even a Husky with a body shot anyway on the old Betsy. It really just depends on the crit, right? So yeah, both guns, top tier, fantastic. For me, the old Betsy is definitely the better gun. You're going to do bigger headshots, you're going to get bigger numbers, and the reload speed is like just dramatically better. You've got a 1.4 compared to a 2.5. That's a no contest for me. The old Betsy locks and loads super fast, just headshot, 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 where the Yeoman fires much slower. So even though it does much higher body shot damage and has better range, the Yeoman is less accurate. It has slow projectiles. It has bullet drop. It has some weaknesses that the Betsy doesn't have. The Betsy is a clean-cut, efficient, super massive one-shot kill weapon that, for me personally, completely outplays the Yeoman in terms of effectiveness. But that's not to disregard the Yeoman. The Yeoman, for people who are a little less accurate with their shots and don't mind the slow reload speed, the Yeoman is going to be the number 2 sniper rifle in the entire game, and it's available right now. Whereas the Betsy, not everybody has the Betsy. So, for those of you who have the Betsy, be happy. The Betsy's still the king. Highest headshot damage in the game. Much faster reload than the Yeoman. Potentially more AoE clearing damage than the piercing attack. Despite it having the piercing attack, the headshot explosion is a more effective AoE clearing tool. So yeah, people with the Betsy who are good, accurate, solid players, you do not have to worry. The old Betsy has not been dethroned. It's still the absolute king of headshots. And for those of you who don't have the old Betsy, congratulations, you got the new most powerful sniper rifle in the entire game. Highest body shot damage of any sniper, with amazing range, and yeah, the crits are going to knock your socks off. So I hope you guys enjoyed the versus, the Yeoman versus the old Betsy review. The old Betsy takes it home as the number one one shot, one kill sniper rifle in the game, and the Yeoman is taking a very, very strong number 2. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and comment down below if there's any other reviews or comparison videos that you would like me to cover. Catch you guys next time.
So if you like this video, come check us out on Twitch. We Twitch stream 15 to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single morning starting at 9 a.m. We'd really appreciate the support. We're working really hard to grow the Twitch channel, so come and check us out. Come help us grow and be part of TeamVASH. Thanks, guys.